Unfiltered Romance Nights podcast, the podcast where we dive into romance books, spill spoilers, talk spice, and chat with the voices that bring the book world to life. We are your hosts, Colleen.
And I'm Marjorie. Joining us for tonight's episode is New York Times bestselling author Lexi Blake. She lives in North Texas with her husband and three kids. She also writes as Sophie Oak. She likes to find humor in the strangest places and believes in happy ending. Lexi, welcome to Unfiltered Romance Nights podcast. We are so excited to have you and celebrate the release of Brooke's Bliss.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. So go grab a drink, settle in, and let's get unfiltered with Lexi. First off, congratulations on Brooke's Bliss.
Thank you. I'm excited to have it out in the world.
Yes, that was the first book of yours that I read, and I was
Oh,
like,
wow. That was probably a lot.
Listen, you've been on my TBR for 9 million years. So
that's because I've been around for 9 million years. And let me tell you, I feel that every day.
I feel you. So this was, for me, it was a good one to start. But now I'm like, oh no, I need to know about all these other people.
Yeah, I can't imagine actually coming in on this particular series with this book because they're really bookends. Like, I started the series with her brothers, Max and Rye.
Okay.
And with this kind of idea of these two, like, younger versions of them asking about their sister and them being like, no, you stay away from my sister. And here we are, this is book 15. Whew.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off with some author-related questions before we kind of get into the book.
Okay. So let's take it back. Let's talk about your writing journey and how you got started as an author.
Well, way back in the dinosaur age, like the 80s. I was really invested in like journalism. I'm in high school. I really wanted to do that. I had written a lot of poetry and stuff like that. I had written a couple of plays, but journalism was really what I thought I wanted to do. And then they told me I had to talk to people, that was the way that you did journalism, was talking to people. And I realized that it's not for me. No.
Yeah.
So go through college. I get married, have some kids. During that time period, I wrote 3 novels, and they were all romance. The first one was the proof that I should never write historical romance because I should not. My whole premise for the reason why this historical romance was happening was absolutely false, because I should have really gone and researched. Like, historical authors really research their stuff well. And I like to write contemporary where I know what the phone looks like and I know what, I don't really have to research that much. That's great. Even so do that. About 10 years down the line, I end up having my last child. I am 37. I have tried sort of to get those books published, sort of. I have a really hard birth because, let's just face facts, 37 is not a great time to have a kid. And almost died on the table. And my husband and I had 2 very, very different reactions. Mine was that I was alive again. Like, I was alive. My husband was like, oh, she almost died. And he's like, he has this trauma response. So what I like to say is the first 10 years of me trying to be an author, I wrote 3 books. In the 18 months after my daughter was born, I wrote 7.
Oh, wow.
And I was there. Like, I was ready. I had that moment, and I wasn't going to play around anymore. So that's, I ended up, what I loved always was romance. I always wrote romance. And at the time, ebooks were getting to be big. So this is 2008, 2009. I found out that I really liked, and this ties into Brooke's Bliss, I liked reading Menage. That was never around, like, Why Choose? I guess that's what we say today. At the time, it was Menage. I really liked reading these Why Choose books that did not exist back in the 80s and 90s. Kind of loved this whole like ebook revolution thing that happened, and so I wrote my first book that I actively tried to publish, which was a book called Small Town Siren, and it was published in 2010, and I have not looked back.
Nice. You are a born again author.
Yeah, yeah. Let me tell you, it was one of those revelations that if there's no time except now.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Well, and it's been so just to put it into perspective. So these 15 books for this series, I mean,
For this series, oh yeah, there are many more.
Where what was the time frame to get all 15 of those books done? Like how long did it take?
Oh, I started this series back in 2010.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah. Oh no, these I've been writing these for a very long time. So 2010, I want to say it was published in October of 2010. So November 2025, we're on book 15.
I was waiting for you to say, "Oh, last year."
No.
That's a lot.
I know.
Because my next question, if it was last year, did you ever sleep?
I know.
No, I write fast. I do not write that fast.
Okay.
Okay. Um. So when you're writing, do you have to write in silence, or do you have a playlist you listen to?
No, I can't write in silence. That's weird and creepy. And then everything that comes in like startles me. And I'm one of those people who, for some reason, I can like jump like a cat. Like you've seen those videos of like the possums that just like pass out. That's kind of me if I get startled. So no, I always have something on, whether I'll sometimes have the TV news on, but mostly I have like Spotify on
Okay.
and I have, I go through cycles of kind of playlists or just complete albums that I listen to. So,
Okay. And what would be your favorite album to go to?
oh no, I guess it depends on the time. I think the one that I've actually weirdly listened to most of all over the last couple of years. Tortured Poets. I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift.
You
I'm
do?
basic.
Okay.
I'm a basic bitch. I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift. Um, but Casey Musgraves put out an album, Deeper Well, it might be a couple of years ago. I don't know. At my age, time is this weird thing. It could have been yesterday, but I listened to the hell out of that, and then I'm listening to the new Florence and the Machine, and the new Sabrina Carpenter and Lily Allen. But mostly, I listen to those because I like to listen to them so that I can try to figure out like what those men were thinking when they cheated on them. Like what were they thinking? Had they not listened to their other albums, which explicitly stated what would happen? So yeah, that's kind of that's kind of what goes through my head as I'm sitting there, and I'm also typing along.
Okay. Yeah, all right, good. I know I find that and you tell me if I'm wrong, Marjorie. A lot of the authors that we've spoken to, they all say they listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, majority
And
of
I'm
them have like.
and I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this. I can't stand her music. I'm sorry.
That's
Maybe just
okay.
because I'm older, I'm just
Oh,
not. My daughter likes it, so
uh-huh.
I can't.
I actually I really love the poetry of it. I think she's a great poet. At the heart of what she does, it's a lot of poetry. But there's something, I don't know, there's something enchanting about it to me. And I think we all connect with different things, like different music. There are millions and millions of people. It's great that we all have different tastes, so these things can thrive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think I listened to her older music. I think like the last one that I listened to the most, Reputation. Um, that and then her older ones.
See, and I got very much got into her in folklore and Evermore that time period. I listened to a lot. The older I get, the more I listen to a lot of what I like to call, like, I guess, neo folk in a way. I love like Noah Kahan, like those. They've got that kind of folk pop flavor to it. So
Yeah. I mean, I love pop music, but like the early, like late 90s, early 2000s. Anything I think past 2005, 2008, I don't.
see, and I find myself at my age um, way more open to listening to what my kids listen to. Like they come up with a lot of really great stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
Well, you know
son,
what? Maybe I got to give it a try. I don't know.
my son listened to what I listen or his dad listens to. So his dad loves death metal. I'm very much like different genres. So he's kind of do that. I mean, the only new ones that he'll know is like if we're on TikTok and he hears them, then he kind of like, oh, I know that song. But other than that, if we're not listening to it, he doesn't know any. He doesn't know any better. So
It's funny how music shapes a lot of things and right into writing too. So, and I didn't, and I agree with you. I never, well, I've never thought of it. Taylor Swift's writing is poetry for sure. I mean, there, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that there isn't a message there. And I think a lot of people relate to that. So maybe I got to give it another chance.
Yeah, I find it interesting that if you put the music aside and read the lyrics, it's pure a lot of it's pure poetry. Really is.
Mm. Now, switching gears a little bit, what do you have time to read? Like, do you have a specific? No.
Do I like to read? Yes. Do I find it much harder to read now that I sit and stare at a screen and write words all day? Also, yes. Um, if I find something I really, really like that really just catches me, I will burn the world down around me to sit there and read that book. The last book I did that with was Rebecca Yarros, was Empyrean. I loved Empyrean. Her Empyrean series is amazing. Um, and then every now and then I will somebody will send me something and I will start reading it and I won't be able to put it down. So that impulse is still really deep inside me. It just takes a lot more for me to be able to focus. It's one of those things where, if you're like, you end up being critical about things, that how would you have done something differently? So it takes kind of a really special book to pull me out of that. It's like I say, when I'm watching a movie or something, if I can see the script in my head, if I can literally, sometimes it will just flash and I'll be able to see the script in my head. That's not something I'm going to be able to lose myself in. So it does happen. I don't read as much as I used to. I often, if I need a comfort read, I'll go back and read something I read before. I have listened to a lot of audiobooks though.
Oh, that was the second part of my question. If whether you are a physical Kindle or audio, so you would say mostly audio.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm not staring at words.
Yeah.
I think that really helps me. And with some of the great stuff they do with audio these days, some of those graphic audios, I mean, they're like, it's amazing.
I haven't listened to any like. Is that the ones where
Oh,
like they have like the
yes,
sound
full
effects?
cast, and like they do all the little the sound effects. So they can do some really cool stuff.
Hmm.
I feel like yeah, that works with fantasy, romantasy kind of thing because they have more. Yeah. Because I'm like trying to think about like, the contemporary or the dark romance. I was like, I don't know. It's like all you're gonna
Lauren
hear is
Blakely has
like,
some really great full cast recordings. If you
yeah.
if you like contemporary, she's got some really good ones.
Um, we're gonna go back to writing. You know? What's the most surprising or unusual place you've gotten inspiration for a scene?
Oh, okay. You know what? I I do this thing once a week that's called inspirations. That I basically talk about what inspires me. I travel a lot, so all over the world. But I had this one scene in a series I write called Masters and Mercenaries that was taken straight out of what my child had done. I wake up one morning. I've got this is the child who sparked my youngest, who sparked this whole thing. So one year she got these the little pony things for Christmas, and a couple of weeks later I walk out and there's like this circle of ponies, and there's this one pony in the middle, and I'm like, "Hey, sweetie, is the pony is the pony dancing for them? Is the pony entertaining?" It's just like, no. I'm like, is the pony like giving them a lecture? Is the pony teaching them? No. What is the pony doing? And she looks at me. She's 7 at the time. And she says, nothing he'll do again. And then walks away. So I actually put that in a book called Lost Hearts. That might be the weirdest place. Like, I kind of think it's really normal to, I was at horseback riding lessons when I got the idea for the first Knights in Bliss book, which was called Three to Ride. And I kind of looked out, and there's this man riding up on a horse, and the sun's behind him. And for some reason, I just see this whole scene. Obviously, he splits in two and becomes two because it's a wide shoes. But like that feels normal to me. But walking out and seeing the weirdness that is my child and going, I must write a scene. Yeah, that's probably the weirdest one I've done.
That's great. That's a great story, though. I love that she's nothing he'll do again.
Okay, and that is when I started questioning how what is your dad teaching you? What? Yeah.
That's funny. So now we're gonna switch gears a little bit and talk about some of your writing. Now, this is contemporary. This Brooks Bliss. Are there any subgenres or tropes that you haven't written that you would love to try?
Yes. Okay. I think the one thing I haven't done, I'm a geek of the highest order. I went and just like my Saturday night was spent watching Predator Badlands in the theater, and that was my idea, which was great, by the way. So I would love to write some science fiction romance. I've never done it. I've written paranormal, which is I consider it's similar but different. So I've had this ancient alien idea in my head like forever. I just haven't had time to write it, but I would love to write an ancient alien romance.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. I don't think I haven't read any alien or monster romance. Like,
Oh, I have. They're fun. I will say they're fun.
I
I
read
really.
one. What was
wasn't
that
that
called?
the Ice
Ice
Planet
Planet
Barbarian?
Ice Planet Barbarians is great. Yes.
Yeah, I need to I guess I should try that.
It's a fun
It's
read.
Maybe next year. Okay, I'm trying to keep to my TBR mug
Yeah.
that I
yeah.
get out stuff. So this would be like an interesting one. If you could give one piece of advice to new writers starting their journey, what would it be?
Oh, so much. It's funny because that comes out in like which part of the business, like the spiritual part. I can tell you, like, grow a thick skin. Like I think that going into this business, the most important thing to is to walk in knowing that your voice is important,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that the words that you write and the stories you tell are important, especially in the romance world, because there will be so very many people who tell you that it is not. And it can be hard at times to be as marginalized as romance writers are. For some reason, our society, we appreciate the hell out of serial killers and things blowing up, and we really love it when someone dies at the end. That is what makes great literature. I call bullshit, because I think that a lot of times what romance really does is reminds us how good it can be. reminds us that there is something to hope for, gives us a place to go. And so I think going in and knowing that you are walking in to this big beautiful world that a lot of people don't understand or want to understand can be hard. I would tell them rely on the actual community of readers and remember who you're writing for, and that your real satisfaction is going to come from having people come up and tell you how much they loved your story, and people coming up and saying, I connected to you. I was in this bad place and then I read your book. Those things will happen if you believe in yourself enough to get there. But then I would also say, save your money, girl. Because this is a wave. It's a wave. It goes up, it goes down. So yeah, I've got the very spiritual one, and then the very practical one of, whew, we crest and then we go down. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's good, great advice though. Because I do feel like I see some, especially in social media, like I see some authors, they'll start comparing themselves to other successful authors or anything like that. Um,
Comparison is the thief of joy. There is no reason to compare yourself to anyone else. I mean, anyone else. This is your journey. Um, people, that's what, like, you can write the best book and it's not the right time for it, or you can write a halfway decent book that suddenly like just connects with people for some reason. That's lightning in a bottle. You have to control what you can control, which is the book and the work that you put out. The rest of the industry is going to do what it does, and we don't know.
yeah. I think like some of them like going into it like, which I've noticed is like thinking like, oh, this author X, Y, and Z, went viral. I just need to have like to go viral. Not everyone is gonna go viral. I don't think.
But I do think that in a lot of ways, that's traditional New York's, like, that's their marketing plan now. It's cool. Like, just go on TikTok and go viral.
But you know what? Like I find I don't even I like TikTok, don't get me wrong, but I don't trust half of it because it's but when it was COVID, I felt like a lot of the book reviews were very genuine. I was getting good recommendations. Now I can scroll and I see the next 10 people recommending the same book. I go and read it and I'm like,
Did I
I
read
don't
the
think it
same
was
one?
that great. Like
That's because back then it was very organic. And I'm not saying that there's not still a lot of organic stuff out there, but I do think that the publishing industry has come in and kind of like we had that ebook revolution. We had a lot of indies who were hitting things like the New York Times, and romance in particular became a big space for independent authors to work in.
Yeah.
Well, they took away the Times, they took away USA Today. We can no longer hit that. And of course, they went in and found TikTok, and now what you get are a lot of, and again, some of these books are freaking fabulous, and that's great. But I do think that there's a little bit of the traditional publishing industry coming in and saying, well, we would like these books to go well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like there are some like the ones that go viral that are like, okay, they're really good, or then they're just like, wait, did we read the same book? or maybe I'm the problem and it's not the book that's the problem. Like just
Sometimes I think, like, if you look, like, Sarah Moss goes completely crazy after Akatar, but she had written for years before that and had this Throne of Glass series that I, in particular, like, really loved, and nobody caught on to it. But TikTok did, kind of blow that up, and I think for some that's really great. I just
yeah. Mm, that's what happens, I suppose.
But I think too, there's also like then there's pressure if you like go viral. on, one book or two books, then there's a pressure that, like, okay, you have to top that third book kind of thing. And then, if it doesn't hit, then you're gonna like stress
But
out and
that's the life
whatnot.
of an author. Is it's that this idea that because you become successful once, that it's just always going to be that way. I've been in the industry since 2010. I have watched a bunch of people hit the heights of stardom and then never do anything again. And why, like, look, we all want to hit $1 million contract. We all want to do that. But there's something to be said for that. There has never been a bigger a time in which what we would consider the mid list is bigger than it is now. It's just hidden because those mid listers are really independent authors. So it's all out there, I think, and it really is a golden age for reading because you have all these great books. It's
Mhm.
it's just some of them don't get as much publicity as maybe others do.
Hmm. All right. Now that let's get into the book. Let's get into the happy stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh,
No,
no,
it's the truth
it's
of it, and
good
that's why
stuff.
we ask. People, we want to know the ins and outs. Um, so we'll start off with a simple question about Brooks Bliss, and it's what what inspired you to write this story?
Um, well, I knew that I had to write a story for Brooke. No, I'm actually, like I said, it goes back to the first book. So in the very first book, Max and Rye are her brothers, and she shows up about halfway through. She is this little college girl, but she has this great sense of who she is, even as a young woman. Basically walks in and is like to the heroine, like, "What are you doing with my brothers?" and blah blah blah, and I'm going to protect my brothers. And by the end of the scene, of course, my heroine in that one is also not going to take any crap from anyone. By the end of it, Brooke is like, okay, this is the greatest woman who ever lived. She can have my brothers. So it's kind of run through, and what I really wanted was to take this woman who has all of this, and she comes from a very very small town. This is tiny. This is a tiny little town, with a really really bad murder rate. I mean, what the hell? Because these are all have some kind of suspense in them. And so I realized about halfway through, I've already had 2 serial killers run through this tiny little Colorado town. What? So I kind of make a running joke of it. Um, so I wanted to. I knew she was studying fashion, so I kind of had all of that, and I knew that she was going to be with these two brothers, one of whom is this artist, and the other is kind of a cowboy. So it was all really about throwing them in and seeing what happened. I wanted to put her in a situation where she was vulnerable and things didn't feel like they were working for her out in the big world, and she has to come home. So
Hmm.
that's kind of where we start.
Okay. And I will say though, like I said, this was my first book. I didn't feel like usually I like to read in order, but I didn't feel like I knew everybody else had a story, but I didn't feel lost.
That's
So, yeah.
Can I quote you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't feel lost. I just knew that
I
everyone had
might
a story.
I might
That's
get that
all.
tattooed on my
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah. which is
So yeah.
which is a good thing, like if you're coming in just like, you know just it popped up as a recommendation. You're not like, worried about
Especially when you write these longer series, you can be a little worried that it's not going to come. Like, you have to tell enough that you get the context of who these people are, but not so much that it overruns the storyline. So I am glad to know I came close. I did that.
No, absolutely. I didn't feel like I struggled at all. And I commend you for writing in third person.
That is how we did it back in 2010. That was the way, and I'm never gonna like switch up and change in mid series. I will say that I write some things in first person present now because I do. Got the Park Avenue series and then a series called Thieves that are first person series. One of them's urban fantasy. That's almost always first person. But the other's a contemporary romance. And I actually like both. I enjoy doing both of them. So I like to switch it up every now and then.
Yeah. It read extremely well.
Yeah, and I think we've Colleen and I talked about it before. Back in like 2020 2010, it was third person. It
Mhm.
wasn't That's the normal, like, how authors were writing. And I feel like I discovered the first person point of view 2022, like, the TikTok era, I guess.
I had somebody explain to me why, especially younger readers, won't read third person. Like a lot of younger millennials and Gen Zs just will not touch a book that is third person. And they what they told me was all of their school books, all everything they were forced to read was third person past. But the books they loved to read, Hunger Games, Divergent, like all of those YAs were absolutely written in first person. So that's kind of they view first person as kind of comfort reads, like fun reads, entertaining reads, and third person is, you know, something you have to read.
Mm.
Hmm. I didn't even realize the switch. Like, I guess now that I read a lot of first person point of view, it's like when you read the third person, it's like then you can tell. But like,
I think though that third person can have. I think a lot of people think first person is the only way to put you in that mind. But I think if you do third person, a really deep POV, like I think I could easily go back and change any of my books from third to first just by changing the he to I, because I put a lot of the characters' thoughts, the how they think, how they is how they speak in their own head, and I think that's what you really want to get out of first person. But I really think you can do it in third. I think a lot of writers do.
Yeah.
um, so this one is gonna be a little bit harder, I guess. What was the hardest scene to write in this book?
Mm. There was one point in this book where I had to stop, like record scratching and like stop and like rewind. Sometimes, especially if I've got an outline and I'm working from an outline, I will skip a step. So I got to the scene where they're in the theater and they have this great romantic scene and everything feels good and they walk out and their car has been um, kind of trashed, and yeah. Well, what I hadn't done before that was happening basically on the second day of this book. And what I realized was I kept trying to make it work and I kept trying to make it work. And I realized they haven't had enough time together to have these moments in this scene. So I had to go back and basically add in about 2 weeks of time. And I often like to do I like to call it like a literary montage, which is these little snippets that show you how their days are going and how they are learning to relate to each other. And it's just like one chapter, but with like a week in it where it's just like Tuesday, then Thursday, things like that. So I think that was the hardest part, was recognizing that I had the timing very, very wrong.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I know for me, I take for granted all the work that goes into it. I just think it's as simple as you getting in there, typing it all up and handing it over, and it's a lot more involved.
Oh yeah. I usually when I get stuck, I have usually skipped a step,
Hmm.
and I have to go back and figure out where that disconnect is.
So you plot all of your
I like to. I like to. What I really like to do is get basically I tend to write in a 3-act structure. So I like to know where all 3 of those acts are going to end. I like to know where my dark moment's going to be, and I like to know how I'm going to start and how I'm going to end. And then I kind of like to find where I'm going in the middle, which is how I can get lost in the weeds and not do what I needed to do.
Gotcha.
Okay, this was my burning question. What, and I know you said you like to read, um, did you say read, or you said read the Why Choose back
Yeah,
when it wasn't?
absolutely.
Okay. So other than that, what gave you the idea to write the series where most of the town is in a menage or Why Choose relationship?
Because it's fun.
Yes.
Okay.
I
It
know.
is. It's
It is.
ridiculously fun.
For sure.
It's kind of dumbly fun, but here's the thing. I view Why Choose as, when I go into it on an intellectual level, this is one man split into. I'm giving you these different parts of, it can never be, and they have to need each other too. So in a lot of ways, from a psychological standpoint, it's like the 2 parts of my husband that are distinctly different, and you know how they relate to each other, how they relate to me, how so in that way it's kind of, I got, if you have to put them together for them to be a whole man,
Gotcha.
um in that way, um because let's face facts. I've often also like stated plainly that I would not want to be in this relationship because there would be too much laundry, and I
No
would have to
shit,
listen
right?
to 2 work stories a day,
Wow.
and it would be a lot. It'd be a
Okay,
lot.
Oh my
that's
god.
an interesting thing to say because, like menage is like what, 2 guys, 1 female,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And then you get the 3, and then the 4. I think for me, it's like when I read, it's like 5 is the max, and that's
uh-huh.
Oh
pushing
no,
it
I
because
can't
it's
But
do
kind
that's
it.
of like
because you kind of figure out sexually where they would all go,
right,
and
like
then you
so
feel like you're like,
everything,
I'm out. I'm out. There's no more.
right?
There's no more. We're not bringing the second team in. This is the
And
one thing. We're
yeah,
all gonna get in here and get it
right, and
done.
then yeah, that's not even thinking about like household chores, like
Oh no.
cleaning
See,
the
I go right there.
groceries, like like they don't talk about that in the
See, that's why you want
No.
to have like
yeah.
2 billionaires, except that, of course, I did not do that with this series. This is very blue collar in a lot of ways. Um, yeah, you just want them to be billionaires so that you don't have to do all that laundry.
Just pay somebody to do it
Although there
I
for
are
know.
them.
days that I wish that he had there are days I wish he had a friend that just like, they could play video games and I could throw them meat and it'd be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think 4 is my limit. I can't, because it's like I've got 2 hands,
Uh-huh.
I got a mouth.
Yep.
That's
And
kind of
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
It's not
Every
doing that.
romance
no,
author who's
listen.
ever written
It's
Why
fun.
Choose has sat around going,
It's fun.
where do we go?
No.
Cause
Yeah.
I think like I've seen somewhere they're like more than 5, and I'm just like
No.
I'm out. Like I
Then
can't
you got to
even.
get your foot involved. I
I
don't
can't
know.
You
even
do.
like
And it
read.
just gets
So
really messy. Like,
yeah, I
that
always
many
think
men
like
can make a big mess.
unless the males are also boyfriends, then it would work
There you
because
go.
then they
See,
could
now
kind of
that
like
can, no, see,
it could
because
work.
then when he's like, and you're like, no, I'm tired, babe, you can just be like,
You
go hit
can go
him.
together, right?
Go.
Right.
Yeah. No, that can work. That's one of the good parts about an MMF. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but in
So
the book world, the woman's never tired. She never says no.
What's
actually,
funny is
there's
in
one
Brooks
book
Bliss,
that
I have a subplot that is literally about household division of labor and how it is. That's really the problem with her brothers and their wife at this point in time, is that it's not that they're not trying. They're almost trying too hard, and they're not seeing where Rachel is not getting what she needs. So I like to put those little things in books because it really is these are female centric problems that we have to deal with every day. And division of household labor, I think, has killed more marriages than anybody knows. So I kind of like to work those in. Of course, they find a happy solution.
Yeah, they do. I forgot about that. That's right. It's like they're off doing what they need to do, and she's stuck at home with and pregnant.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
3 kids and one on the way. Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, you're right.
it's a
It's just
lot.
a lot. That's why sometimes I like when white shoes don't have like they'll have epilogue, but like they don't have like 10 years later. Like how many
17
fucking
kids.
how many fucking kids did this lady had? Like because if there's four, at least four in there, that obviously all of them were gonna be like, I want one. Like but yeah, that's a lot. You need a lot of nannies, so that they definitely need to be billionaires. Because yeah, that's exhausting. I feel like
Right.
just thinking about it.
She is exhausted at the beginning of this book,
Hmm.
but much better at the end. So
Yeah.
So we love the found family feel of this book for Bay and Shane since they had a tough upbringing. Will we get any updates about the relationship in future books like we did with other characters?
so Bliss is the last of my series. I write oh no, I write a lot of interconnected series, so it's the last of my series that hasn't time jumped yet. I still had a bunch of books. So Texas Sirens has time jumped into what I like to call a legacy series. Masters of Mercenaries time jumped. It's there. So Bliss is the last one that it was in like the previous timeline. So we are about to jump forward with the second generation. And I'm really excited to get into that where we kind of see where everybody is, 10, 15 years down the line. Except that I always say that my characters, my older characters, while their children have grown, they have not aged at all. They have soap
Good.
opera
That's
stop
always the
aging.
question. Like,
No, we're not going to talk about how old they are. We're
no,
not.
okay, cool.
Good. I know. I
Yeah,
think about that.
it's like we always
They are still they're still right there. They
Yeah.
look great.
I
They're
worry for
good.
them.
Yeah.
And they're
right.
still very active. They're doing everyday stuff and
Uh-huh.
so good. Good.
What do we call this? Like they're not in a nursing home. Why are you picking it up in the nursing home?
No, like even like the character cuz I like to write characters who are close to my age. So like that 40-year-old character back in 2010 who now has a 25-year-old daughter. Let's not talk about that. Let's not. I guess actually that's not too bad. It's yeah, I've got some who would definitely be up there, but not soap opera aging.
Yes. What was her name? Oh God. All my children. What was her name?
Yes, Susan Lucci never
That's
aged.
it. She doesn't age. Oh, that's funny.
Like I love mafia books. When I read those, they're usually always age gap, and the male main character is always late 30s into their 40s. So then when the author announces like we're gonna have a second generation, it's like, oh, he's gonna be like one in their like 60s, 70s, like
Yeah, and you're like, no, see, and that's when you
right,
push. The author has pushed the stop for the main characters and knows they're going to be in their. They're just stayed in their 40s. Yeah,
right, because the female main character is usually in their 20s, so it's okay when you age them. But I was like, oh, they're the same age now as the MMC. They're like close to
and
age.
it's not that I don't think that I'm 55, so I do think that we have active sex lives and active love lives and all that. I just don't want to have to write about creaking knees. And
Right.
that's in there, man. That's in there. I do not want to have to write. I mean, I could write a book about menopause. Whew.
Oh, I can you please? And I'll buy a copy. Because I'm in the beginning stages and it's not fun.
Oh, it is not. Oh, it's a wild ride. Yeah, just every day's fun. Don't recommend.
And then maybe they'll have a cure soon where you don't have to.
I believe that the cure is death. That's the sad part. I think there's one way
That's the
out.
only out. That's the only out you get.
That's the only
Oh,
out.
God.
That's it's like, after your body's tortured you for years, then it tries to actively murder you in menopause.
Right.
So, thanks. Great. Love being a woman.
Right. How come like men don't have like any of these issues?
No, they have midlife crisis, and then they trade you in for a younger model.
Yeah, and good luck with that, buddy.
I know.
There's gonna be so much
I'm
like
s-
trading
yeah,
in.
I'm
Because
sorry.
we're
You
all
want to
gonna
start
be
over
aging.
again? Good luck. Bye.
I know, right? Go have some newborns. That's fine. I'm gonna
Mhm.
be in my 2-bedroom house on the beach.
Yes, I'm going to be in my little bungalow with my girlfriends and my wine, and nobody telling me what I need to watch on TV. Do not threaten me with a good time.
I know. I know. That's funny. Oh,
It's
me or
your
you?
turn. No,
Oh,
it's you.
sorry. All right. So we already
Hello.
covered that this is the end of this is the last book, and
Well, the last
oh,
book in the first series, yeah.
in this first series. So there will be a legacy,
Yep.
and with this book, is there a favorite scene that you wrote? Is there
Yeah.
one? Oh, what
Oh,
is it?
my favorite scene, and this is a scene that if you haven't, this is one of those things where I interconnect things because I read way too many comic books as a kid and really loved to have like Easter eggs and everything. Um, there's a scene where, and I'm it's not really a spoiler. She's very, very pregnant. The character of Nell is pregnant, and she is giving birth to a character who already exists in my Masters and Mercenaries world. She's older, yeah, and everyone calls her name is Lucy Brooke. But they call her Lucifer because she's such a badass spy.
Mhm. Okay.
I love that.
So I really wanted that particular scene. I played around with the character of Henry and Nell so very, very much. I find his character very fascinating because when you first see Henry in Bliss, he's a tofu eating, socks with his, I mean, he is a peacenik. And over the course of the series, you discover that he has an entire secret first life as a spy, as John Bishop. So they have their first child in a book called Happily Ever After in Bliss. And that child feels very, very much like Nell's baby, like Nell and Henry's baby. I wanted John Bishop to have a baby too. And so she is born and it's a lot. Her birth is it's a lot. That was my absolute favorite scene to write, was the scene where Nell finally explains to Henry, I love all of you, not just
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Like, because he felt like he had to walk away, and she's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, after.
This is your child. Like he
Yeah.
has just gone and done terrible things that to save everyone, but she's like, no, you come and pick up your child
Yeah.
who
That
has
was
been born in a barn.
Yeah, in a barn.
Yeah, with a vet like overseeing things. So
Right.
And that's the beauty of small town, right? Like
yeah,
There you go.
you don't. Um. Okay, you have lots of characters. So if you could swap lives with one of them for a day, who would it be and why?
oh, I would definitely swap. I like my urban fantasy series. I would swap lives with Zoe, who is my because she's got her menage is between a vampire king and a green man, and I just think that he is a billionaire. I just think that that's like, I mean, it's a vampire and a sex god. He also can grow her plants, and yeah, that's where I'd go. She also has just really great shoes, and because she takes the vampire blood on a regular basis, her knees never go bad. She stays young.
Yeah,
Taking,
that's a
going
fair,
right there.
fair swap.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's
billionaire
funny.
vampire, you don't grow old.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'd do it.
Best of all worlds.
Mhm.
Um, okay. Here's similar question, but a little bit different. If you had to spend the day with one of your characters, who would you choose and why?
Oh. I would spend the day with well, so I like to say I my husband so in my main series Masters and Mercenaries I have a character named Ian Taggart, and he is the most sarcastic big ass Viking in the history of, like, he is sarcasm personified. I really just walk after my husband, and when he says things, I write them down, and then I go put them in a book. So, I mean, the easiest one would be to spend that time with Ian, because I do that every day.
There you go. Aw,
No, that's
that's
sweet.
sweet.
Yeah.
When this comes out, play this clip for your husband and say, see?
He knows. He knows. He's he's my biggest fan. He's read every single book, and this is not a man who reads romance. He
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
he's read every book. We've been married for 33 years now. 30, yeah. And we've known each other since we were 12, which is crazy.
Oh, I love that. Mm.
That's sweet. I think this is the first time that we've heard like they've read all of it. Like,
Oh
like some
no,
would.
he's my last proofer. He reads it
Mhm.
right before we finalize, and he knows it, and he sits and talks to me about it, and he's read everything I've ever written.
That's great. I could not trust Matt to do that. He can't even spell his name, so I couldn't trust him.
Oh. Yeah. So out of all your books, if you could choose, which book would you choose to adapt into a movie?
Oh, um, like, so the funny thing is I'm actually actively working on screenwriting. I have a screenwriting partner. We've got an agent. We've had a couple of projects go out. So it's kind of weird that you asked that. Like, dream project, or which one do I think might actually sell?
Oh, let's go with Dream
Dream
Project.
Dream project,
project.
I would
Yeah.
be Thieves. I would love to see that, my urban fantasy series, like no question. But I'd love to see all of them. We actually, weirdly enough, shopped Bliss, Colorado, about 5 years ago. I had a producer who was like, I think we might be able to kind of sell this as kind of a like twist on Desperate Housewives, and I'm like, you go for it, bud. But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it did not work out. I've written a screenplay for a book I wrote called Start Us Up, which is a part of Park Avenue Promise, and we're about to start shopping that. So yeah, you never know when it can happen.
Sure. I love that. It's
Like the book industry is like getting like, all the, I guess, being shopped
We're
around.
having a moment because of Colleen Hoover. Um, having a really nice moment. I'm really eager to see what happens with Empyrean at gosh, I'm trying to, I think it's Prime. I think Prime has it. I can't remember. Wherever that goes, I'm really eager to see how that goes. I know we had like this big YA like adaptations for a long time, and now we seem to be moving into romantasy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I think that would, because romantasy would probably work just because it's gonna interest other, you know, another market, not just for readers. Um, just because it's gonna be interesting. It's
See,
not
I
just
would
like, oh,
hope
it's a
that
romance.
how well Bridgerton has done would
Mhm.
show people it. When you, like, I remember watching the first season of Bridgerton, and I sat down and cried because it was the first time I felt like somebody came in and loved our genre. Shonda Rhimes came in and she put money down and time and effort. She put love into that series. And that's what you can do. Like all these great science fiction books, they've gotten these brilliant adaptations over the years. And I just want my genre to have that same opportunity. And I think that we're kind of seeing that start to come around.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, yeah, and that's like some of the things, like sometimes like, oh, this is comes from a book. I'd rather watch the movie first before I read it, because then I don't have like a super high expectation. I mean, that's how it happened for me for Twilight. Like when Twilight came out, I didn't know it was a book. Watched it, and then I found out that it was a book, and then I read the whole series, and then continued watching that. I was just like, oh, it's like there's so many important parts when you're reading that they cut out, and
Oh,
it's
yeah,
always like,
that's because
yeah, why would you do
that script,
that? Yeah.
that script goes from you go from an 80 to 90,000, sometimes more word book. That script is 12,000 words. You've got to go from 80,000 words to 12,000. I mean, it's rough. Like I said, it did my first adaptation of my own work. Hated it so much. I hated it. I mean, I'm happy with the end product, but it's a hard process to have to know you're going to have to get rid of subplots. You have to do all these things to get it down to roughly an hour and a half, hour 45. It's so much easier to just write originals, but I think it's a lot easier when you're coming into it as an intellectual exercise and not you wrote it. Like this is this is why some authors like step away and don't want to adapt their own work. It's very, very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
would
why I like
imagine.
it when they do, those like the mini series where it's 4 episodes. Then it would be perfect, because then you won't have to cut out a lot, like,
See, it's like I don't know if y'all have watched Black Dagger Brotherhood. I was very I was very reticent because I love that series so much. I really didn't. I didn't want to. I didn't want it. It was great. I was really surprised. It was great. I was really, really surprised at how good it was. I looked at those actors in stills and was like,
Right? Yeah.
you have
'cause
to let
I
them
love that.
let.
Yeah,
They're
I
great.
love that series.
I love
I
it too. I
haven't
love it
like,
so much.
yeah,
And
I
you know
haven't
what? The people who
watched
made
it.
that loved it too, and you can tell. I was really surprised at how good it was. I think that it would have been impossible to do it that even just the first book as an hour and a half. That would be a huge mistake. It like that kind of lore and storytelling. It needs those 6 to 8 episodes. Yeah.
Okay, because I know they're doing season two, like the book two as the season two
Oh,
now.
I was going to ask if they're doing more seasons
They
They
of it.
are.
are,
They are.
they
And I'm
are. I
excited
think
about it.
because they had a great response from like people that read.
Yeah. Again,
Yeah.
like I said, I have to put my hands up and say I was wrong. It's great.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
Well,
maybe
was that
I
through
will.
Passion Flick?
It
Yes,
was. Yeah.
yeah.
And I used to have a subscription to them, and they use a lot of the same actors. Like the main female character, I think she was in another main female character in Driven, I think it was, or something.
See, this is the first one I've actually watched. Um, so I don't know. I
Maybe I'll
liked it.
try the first episode and see how it goes. Because I'm like, I really
I will
like that
tell you,
one of
man,
my.
they do not flinch on the sex scenes.
Oh, that's
Like,
good.
That's
no,
Passion
they
Flicks
like,
for you.
woo,
Because I
they
mean,
go for it.
if
And
you've
when you're
read
sitting there with
the.
your friend of 10 years, and all of a sudden there's like, we're both like, okay. And then her husband walks through, and he's like, what are you doing? Like, just go away, Steve. Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, if you've read the book, they are
Oh, they
pretty
are. They're
much
great.
they're
Yeah.
going at it over there. Um,
That's your homework, Marjorie. Just watch the first episode and see how
how
you feel about it.
Should we do it as an episode for the podcast now?
There we go.
I would tell you, okay, I'm going to tell you, just watch the first 2 episodes because
First
Two?
two.
Okay.
it always takes like an episode to set up.
Yeah.
But I think that
That's
by the
true.
time you get into the second episode, you feel like you're actually fully in the world. The beginning of it is, but even the beginning of the actual series of the books, it took me, it can take you a while to get into it because you have to learn the world and you've got a lot of building. But
You're like
afterwards, like
learning both characters too, like
yeah,
their
and the
backstories
and the world and how everything works and
then how they kind of like get together
Mhm.
and all that stuff. It's a thick book,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's really a great series. I haven't finished the whole series because there's a lot.
I will tell you, like you suddenly see Wellesley and you're like, oh,
Oh, I know. Like I'm not looking
I'm like, I don't
forward.
want to like her.
Like, yeah, that's one of the characters. Like, can she come back? Can they
I
come back?
know.
Like, why can't they come back?
I'm like, Tor, you look so happy right now.
Right. Oh,
It's not gonna go well for you, buddy.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be rough once it.
But I do think that's the joy of being like this big fan and being able to see this on adapted for screen, and it's kind of a joyous thing.
Yeah. We'll give it a go.
Yeah. All right. So that's
Um,
one thing we're gonna do is like
Yes.
watch 2 episodes
We'll
and then
do
we.
it. Maybe we'll have to have Lexi come back.
And be like, we'll review this and see how.
We could do a little series review.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm lost. We got lost. Who's turn is it?
It's your turn.
I'm not
Again.
doing good tonight.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about having something adapted to a movie. Now, what is one scene you think would be especially powerful to see play out on screen? We'll condense it. Let's just say from this book.
Oh, from this book.
Yeah.
Oh, from this book, it would absolutely. I think it would probably be that birth scene. That there's a lot going on in there. But I also I'm trying to think of like that's probably the most cinematic thing because you've got. I mean, it's chaos, and in the midst of this chaos, we have this hopeful thing that happens. And in the midst of all of it, they all, that danger when you're writing romantic suspense, that danger, and especially that last really big scene when everything blows up, it has to bring clarity to the characters. It has to strip them down to their base and ask the question, do I love this person?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've got all the noise of everything else, but when you're face down with the fact that somebody's probably going to die, that's when it all goes away, and there's that one question is the only one that matters: do I love him?
Right.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, because she, in her mind, like they were always all in. I mean, from their first meeting, and she was always hung up on. Well, it feels too soon. It feels too.
Well, but
soon.
that's more about Brooke than it is about them. And that's one of the things I love to dive in. And she is coming from a place where she has to find her groove again in this book. She's gone to New York, and in a lot of ways she's gotten involved in an industry that strips her down, that takes her apart, that she's literally told, yes, I'm taking your designs and you should be happy about this. And some of this from a psychological standpoint with me is this idea of I've been in traditional publishing. I've done this every way I can. And it's okay to be indie. It's really okay to run your own business. Right. She has to find that validation from inside of her. Because I think as we get older, what we learn is that when we continually look for validation from other people, we are almost always disappointed. Mm-hmm. So finding that in herself, in who she is, in knowing that she can change course. She's not tied to this one thing for the rest of her life because she she thinks that she'll let her brothers down if she doesn't do it in this one way, becomes very freeing for her. And she is now, when she makes those decisions and really finds her own passion, that's when she loves herself, is when she can love them.
Right. That's so important. Yeah.
Actually, that would like play out like really well for like, movie, like just the emotions, and people would be able to relate to that.
And they very much have to come to the conclusion that, because I think in a lot of ways Bay is very much the artist, and artists can, he thinks differently. He sometimes doesn't pick up social cues. I guess what I'm trying to say is he's a little neurodivergent, and I love writing those characters because I'm surrounded by them. So he doesn't always know how to communicate as well as he should, but his brother has to come to terms with the fact that he's important in the relationship too, because he's
Right.
stuck in between these two artists who have these big passions, and he has to figure out, where is my place? Am I important? Could I walk away, and these two really brilliant people, what do they need with me? Well, they need him to ground them, to have a normal life. It's when your head's up in the clouds constantly, you really need that person who comes in and says, we're all going to eat dinner now, right? So yeah, I think that it even more than a lot of my other books, this is about three people who are finding their place in the world by finding their place in their family.
Yeah. And I think that they're all very much needed in this relationship because they're all very different. It doesn't work unless it's all three. Yeah. I felt that. Yeah.
And that's a good thing, like pointing out. It's like balance, like there are some, I think we've talked about it before, there are some white shoes where there's no balance. There's always like, and at that point it's like I kind of take me out of the romance, like when there's either the female main characters pitting the guys at each other, or they have favorites, and it's like, well, that's not balanced. It doesn't, I don't feel like it's gonna work.
Yeah, so we're unfiltered. So I'm going to tell you, I never want to write a second dick just for a second dick.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not, I mean, there has to be some emotional grounding for me. Even if I was writing 3 or 4, there has to be a reason for them all to be there, and for them to want this one woman. There has to be a reason that they want this kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the brothers were so close, are so close, that they almost, with even take Brooke out of it, they were very dependent on each other because they were that close to.
And that had so much to do with their childhood and how Shane was brought up, and this idea of, everybody thinks they're twins in the beginning, and they don't realize that they're actually half brothers, and that Shane is basically, his mom was the affair partner who dumped him at a young age, and the only reason they kept him was it would look bad if
Yeah.
they, and so he's kind of the whipping boy for a very, very long time. But the relationship that he finds solace in is the one with his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sweet, like that they were like that, to have each other.
Yeah. So I know you said that you started this series 2010. Are there any special editions for this series?
Nope. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not like, I don't ever, I like, that's a lot of, special editions are a lot of work. Like, you have to design things, and it's gone through a couple of different covers. I'm going to recover again fairly soon to keep it kind of modern, but I have 100, and I want to say it's 120 books out now. So
That's a lot. Yeah. I
That's funny.
was gonna say maybe on the 10-year anniversary, but that's already done. Kinda.
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what? 15 years is right now.
Yeah, right now. Hmm.
Um I think this is the last question. Last one. Boo. No. Do you have any plans to attend any book conventions or signings in the next year?
I'm taking a year off, actually. Yeah, yeah. I'm actually my whole family is moving, and it's like a big move. We're moving to the East Coast, from Texas, so we're gonna do it as my youngest is graduating, and then she wants to go to school on the East Coast. My middle child is transferring to a school on the East Coast. So yeah, we're moving, and I'm gonna take a year, and I'm gonna take a year and settle in. I've been doing at least sometimes up to 6 or 7 conferences a year for 15 years. I'm gonna
Yeah,
take a break.
Yeah.
that's
Well,
fair.
yay. I'm on the East Coast. Sorry, Marjorie.
Where are you on the East Coast?
Now I'm in Florida.
We're moving to Virginia, so
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Right in the middle. Good for you.
I've lived there. I've lived in Florida. I like
I
where I'm
I
at
know.
now.
I have very good friends in Florida. I'm in Florida all the time.
I lived in
Yeah.
Texas too, so but I like where I'm at now. I like
All right.
where
Yeah.
it's a small town. Nobody like. I'm
What
not a
part of the
people
country is
person,
it?
so we're in Montana, so
Oh, I was just in Montana. I was
were you?
Oh,
yes, yeah. We did a I my last this the last signing I did was in Whitefish.
Yeah, I'm 20 minutes away from there.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't get to attend, but yeah, I'm
it's
20 minutes away.
beautiful. It's
I
beautiful.
like.
Yeah, we actually drove, which was kind of insane.
That's a long
Uh,
drive.
it's a long drive.
I've
I think
done.
my husband thought we were younger than we really are, because
Yeah,
that's a
because
long drive, but it's beautiful country.
I've done that drive. We moved from Texas to here, so yeah, it's a long drive.
Hmm.
At least it was kind of summery, like September. It's not too bad.
Yeah,
Like
no, it was nice. It was really
yeah,
nice.
when we moved, it was December, so we're in the middle of
Oh,
winter, and it was a winter storm too that was coming in. So we drove in those weather. So, but
Hmm. Yeah.
hmm.
Well, that brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for making time to meet with us. It really was a lot of fun. We learned a lot. And again, congratulations on Brooks Bliss.
thank you. I had a lovely time. So honored for y'all to have me on. Thank you.
No, thank you. We had, like she said, we had so much fun, and we're gonna can't wait to see what you do bring us next, and hopefully we see the screenplay that you're writing.
That's right.
Yes.
On. So
Oh, okay. That's good. Oh, maybe we'll have you back so we can talk about the Black Dagger. um, there we go. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe to Unfiltered Romance Nights so you never miss an interview or a book chat. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Unfiltered Romance Nights Podcast. You can DM us if there are any authors you'd like to see on our podcast or any topics you'd like us to discuss. Well, that's all. See you next time.
yep, keep your books spicy and your nights unfiltered.